What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Carrie.
What's up?
Carrie, you better get whatever you have out of the way, because...
Look, I got nothing new going on. I'm still playing Monster Hunter and Pokemon Snap. Y'all enjoy talking about Mass Effect. I'm going to sit and listen, because I am not playing Mass Effect.
That's fine. Micah, I may have played too much Mass Effect this weekend.
You sent me a message.
I did.
Let me see if I can find it. You sent me a message regarding Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
And the message was as follows. So I may have beaten Mass Effect 1 yesterday.
Sir.
So my in-game, so to frame contextually, I did not 100% the game. However, I did do enough in the game to earn the completionist trophy that you get for doing, I think it's like 75% of the missions that are in the game, with an in-game time of about 22 hours. What's funny is I was streaming Mass Effect on Sunday, which you can check out at twitch.tv/densepixelsbrad. Still up. And I was getting ready to do the Ilos mission, not realizing that the Ilos mission was actually the last mission of the game. So I streamed that, and I was like, and then like, you know, you end up back on the Citadel, and I was like, oh shit, like I'm about to beat the game. Like, okay. I did not also realize that in Mass Effect 1, this is the only game in the series that's like this, but in Mass Effect 1, there is no like return to the Normandy option after you beat the game because of things that happen at the end of the game. So there's a lot of stuff left undone. So I was like, shit, like this isn't necessarily the save file that I want to carry over into Mass Effect 2, because there's a lot of things I didn't do yet, because I didn't realize that Ilos was the last mission, because they don't do a great job of making it super clear that it's the point of no return. They kind of do, but not really. So I pulled up a previous save and then grinded out like 5 hours worth of Uncharted Worlds missions, which I don't recommend doing in one sitting, by the way. So we're going to talk about Mass Effect 1 real quick, because this technically is the first time that I've ever completed Mass Effect 1. I have not played very much Mass Effect 1 at all. I tried playing it 10 years ago, didn't make it past I rescued Liara, and I'm like, man, driving this car sucks, and I bounced out of it. So story in Mass Effect 1, like the core storyline, excellent. Fantastic storyline. Like Micah said last week, is probably the most cohesive narrative in the entire series. However, the storyline in Mass Effect is actually very short. Like there's really only 6 main beats, like 6 areas that you go to progress the story.
Yeah.
And the thing that's filled in around the rest of the story is you have uncharted worlds. So basically each solar system has and there's like, I don't know, 25 solar systems that you can visit in the game. Each solar system has one of the planets in the system that is a world that you can drop down on and traverse. Now, what you're traversing is this very small, like square area. This is not like No Man's Sky level of planet size or anything like that.
Right.
And generally, the world will have like some anomalies, which are some things you can investigate to get collectibles, because there's like collectible side missions that you can do, and there's like things that you can like minerals that you can survey, because that's also part of a side mission that you can do, and this other thing. And then each planet usually has like a base of some kind on it that has some sort of side mission adjacent necessity to it of sorts. But the problem is that these side missions really don't amount to much more than go in, kill these dudes, get a couple items, and leave. When you do get a story payoff, like 80% of the time, it's like a text box that pops up on the screen that tells you what happened. Like it's not even a cutscene that you get to experience in the game at all. And there are 3 flavors of buildings that you come across. There's the underground round bunker. There's the 2-story duplex bunker with the overhang. And then there's the inset mine. And you rotate between those 3 locations ad nauseum. and they all look the same. Some of the boxes and crates in the area might be positioned in different ways to make it different. Oh, there's also like a freighter that you can get on, but the freighter is laid out in exactly the same way every single time. And those are the side missions in Mass Effect 1. Needless to say, the side missions in the future games are much better.
yeah, very much so. Like you gotta be into you gotta be into wanting to be a space cop.
Yeah.
To burn through those and you get a lot of them. You get a lot of side quests thrown at you.
There's a lot. There's a whole lot.
And I'm doing them all because I have to. Yeah, it's, you know, this is Mass Effect warts and all, right? But I love it. I really do.
Here's something else I discovered, by the way, going through the playthrough. So one thing that Mike has talked about on the show, Mike has beat Mass Effect like 4 times, 6 times, whatever. Like he's gone through Mass Effect 1 a ton. And you told me every single time you played, and we're getting into spoiler territory, the game's been out for 14 years. If you really don't want to hear spoiler territory, just skip ahead like 10 minutes. Every single time that you've played Mass Effect 1, Micah, during the Vermeer mission, you have saved the same person every single time and let the same person die every single time. Is this correct?
Yes, this is correct.
Micah, I have to question your ethics, sir, because Ashley Williams,
she sucks.
Is a bigoted xenophobe in this game.
Oh yeah,
how could you possibly save her?
Well, the first time I was a renegade, so right. I was a bigot, right? Like I'm a bigot just like her, right? Like she's a space racist, guys. Like she has some bullshit reason why she doesn't like aliens or whatever. Nah, you're a bigot, right? You're a bigot. And but I wanted to have sex with her. That's why I did it. Now, with Lady Shepherd, I didn't care for Alenko, and she wasn't about.
He's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy, and I'm going to make sure that he is alive in this playthrough. That's going to be my big change.
So here's the other thing. So people rave about I'm going to call them the original 6 in Mass Effect, as if they're like a group of hockey team. The original 6 characters in Mass Effect that all have the possibility to persist throughout the entire franchise, depending on the things you choose. They don't give you a ton of time with them. Like I was actually kind of surprised at how underdeveloped some of the characters were. Like people's obsession with Garrus to me doesn't make sense, because I barely got 2 words out of Garrus. Now I wasn't trying to romance. You can't even romance Garrus in Mass Effect.
Not in the first one, or the second one. You can in the third one.
Yeah. So like I barely got 2 words at him. The characters that I had the best relationship with were Caden and Tally. I think and then of course Liara, because you
have to.
We had to. we had not. Also, too, Liara comes on super fast.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm fascinated with you. I was like, hey, I get it. I'm a Spectre. But then again, I'm a human.
With like 6, story beats, we don't have a lot of time to dilly because we have to go through the Mass Effect romance arc, which is kind of attracted to you, kind of want to get down. No, we shouldn't. Yes, we should. Like it kind of goes the same way every single time. There's always 2 paramours that are like competing for your interests in a lot of ways.
Did you do both at the same time?
No. Well, so I once like Caden was flirting with me immediately once we got on the Normandy and started doing our thing. Then once Liara came on board, Caden's like, hey, like I think she's sweet on you, and I was like, I'm sweet on her. We're just friends. So,
if you don't do that, if you don't do that, and you rescue Liara, pretty early on, if you don't do that and you just kind of keep playing them both, they'll come up to you after one of those missions, after one of the world missions, and it's just like, look, you need to make a choice right now. And if you say, well, can I have both of you? They'll both be pissed.
I mean, that makes sense.
And I think you have to kind of work to, I think if you say, can I have both of you? The human one is just like, no, fuck you forever. And then I think it's just harder to get Liara to come around, but I think you still can.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny, man. It's fun. She's like, nope, we doing this right now in the calm room. This is like some Jerry Springer shit.
So gameplay wise, I was surprised that at least on normal difficulty, the gameplay was very weapons heavy. And again, so like since Mass Effect 2 was the one that I really played the most first, I got spoiled on it because in Mass Effect 2, when you use your powers, you can target somebody, and even if they're like around cover or, you know, like not exactly in your line of sight, like the power will still arc over to them or will work through certain cover, which is nice. Mass Effect 1, like you have to aim where the power is going, and if you aim and then the person moves, congratulations, like you just wasted your power, and now it has to recharge again. So I wasn't really using the powers too much until later in the game. And two other problems that, number one, weapons are really good in Mass Effect 1, especially now, and especially now because now there's no more class restrictions on weapons. That's number one. They also got rid of the like RPG like dice roll mechanics that the original game had and just made it like skill based, which is cool. But later in the game, biotic powers are stupid in fucking Mass Effect 1. Like they're so disgustingly good. Like, why would you bother using anything else?
That's why I'm saving Caden this time, because like on an Insanity playthrough, like on harder playthroughs, all that gun stuff is not going to work.
Yeah.
Like you have to, like enemies, they use shield boost, they use immunity. They stay behind cover. Like you have to flush them out.
Yeah, well, guess what? You have a little ability called Singularity. That's real good at I'm floating through the air. Like, yeah, now I'm off you with my fucking shotgun. Like, have fun. I'm dying.
And it's you have to really use your really use your powers, and you have to, and you know, in order to kind of combat the whole line of sight thing, you gotta increase blast radius for all of your powers, if it's a power that can do that, to try and help flush people out. But it's fun, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving being back in it. When I turned it on, I looked at some old videos of the first Mass Effect, and when I turned this on, I was blown away.
It's very good looking for a game.
Yeah,
is a remaster of a game that came out in 2007.
Yeah, like
specifically the part that really struck me was the Ilos part when you're driving the Mako down like the throughway. That's there. If you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. Looks incredible. Like that. Probably I would love to see that next to the original version, because it's probably night and day for that specifically. Like how much detail there is on the different walls, and how much, like how far the detail goes into the background and everything. Probably looks incredible. Vermeer probably also big upgrade in the new version, I would bet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I realized that I had only played Pinnacle Station, the piece of DLC that's not included, and I really liked it because it had like a horror vibe to it, if I'm remembering it correctly. And I enjoyed
Bring Down the Sky was
so I'm playing Bring Down the Sky now, and I'm just like, this isn't the same. as Pinnacle Station. I would have much rather have had that, but you lost the code or whatever. I get it. Yeah, man. I'm loving it. I'm taking it low and slow. I got my I'm an infiltrator, so I have all these tech-based abilities, and I got to keep Caden because Caden's got like the best biotic abilities. He's got the best combination of people that I play as, and either anyone except Ashley, because the soldiers are useless.
Soldiers are terrible in this game. I can't, one of the listeners, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was in the Discord, mentioned that they were boring themselves with the soldier playthrough because they're like, I really regret the choice, but I'm too far to go back now. And the problem is that Mass Effect 1, soldiers don't really get powers. Like the benefit in Mass Effect 1 was that they could do specialized training with every weapon type. But that only was a benefit when you couldn't use every weapon type as another class.
Right.
I will say for you, listener, who I still cannot remember right now who it was. Number one, you can switch your class even if you're importing a Shepard into Mass Effect 2. That's totally cool. And number two, soldier gets better in Mass Effect 2. It becomes a better class to play because you actually get powers that you can use.
Yeah,
not much better, but better than Mass Effect.
Yeah, it's still not. You're still not a space mage, right? Yeah. But it's a little better. But nah, man, you gotta go with tech or biotic or something. Some combination of the two.
Well, what's cool is that you can actually make it thematically cool to switch classes in Mass Effect 2 because of what happens at the beginning of that game. Essentially, you can totally theme it as well, I was this guy, but when this thing happened, they implanted me with biotic implants, and now I'm a Vanguard. So
yeah, I'm playing as a Paragon, and in Mass Effect 2, what happens in that game is gonna really piss me off. So I'm probably going to go down a Renegade route. Because normally I would just play them all, all straight or whatever. But yeah, man, it's still fun. The story is still good to me. I'm very I'm anxious to get to Mass Effect 2.
I'm there, buddy.
I gotta get this platinum. I gotta get this platinum.
Getting to rush the cover and vault over cover, and
yeah, instead of just walking up to a wall and hoping that you hug it. Like it's still Mass Effect 1. Like it still has some jankiness,
hot map powers to single buttons, and not having to pull up a wheel every 2 seconds in combat. It's all great. It's all great. It is incredible how much of a quality of life upgrade Mass Effect 2 is. Arguably the greatest quality of life upgrade in video game history from one version of a game to another. So yeah, that's about all I had to say about Mass Effect 1. I will be streaming Mass Effect 2 in some way, shape, or form over the next several weeks. But I guess it says a lot about Mass Effect 1 that I felt compelled to put a day of gaming into 2.5 days over the course of weekend, essentially.
Just crushing it.
Or that's how badly I wanted to get to Mass Effect 2. I was like, I have to get.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think it's more of let's just eat my vegetables so I can have my dessert.
I think you might be right about that. I literally once I was grinding side missions, I was like, I'm literally going to just keep playing until I pop the completionist trophy. And the problem is I couldn't get the platinum anyway because I killed Ashley before I had used her enough to get the trophy that you need to actually take her on missions with you. I didn't take her on enough. I didn't complete enough missions with her before she died. So I was like, well, fuck, I'm gonna need another playthrough anyway.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. I was just like, nah, man.
I wish I'd planned it out a little bit better. So New games for you guys this week. Don't worry, there's not a lot to take Mass Effect off of anyone's plate. I don't think that's going to be out there, except for this one, of course. Leisure Suit Larry: Wet Dreams Dry Twice comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. It's incredible that these games still continue to be made by somebody. Wild.
Wow.
Days Gone comes to PC. Elite Dangerous, the Odyssey expansion, releases. Never Yield comes to PC and Switch. Outbreak Endless Nightmares comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Backworlds comes to Nintendo Switch. Grand Casino Tycoon comes to PC. Just Die Already comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Lacuna comes to PC. Layers of Fear 2 comes to Switch. Mayhem in Single Valley comes to PC. A Bird in Cage comes to PC. Puzzle Bobble VR Vacation Odyssey comes to the Oculus Quest. Knockout City comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Miitopia comes to Nintendo Switch, and Rust comes to PlayStation and Xbox.
Wow. I'm just looking at pictures of Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams.
I saw you highlight
twice.
it, and I'm like, I know Mike is gonna look this dumb shit up, and I know he's gonna regret it.
Yeah, like there's a plant in here that I guess was designed by Georgia O'Keeffe. If you are aware of who that artist is, there's another plant that just looks like a pair of dick and balls. All right, I think I'm done.
Speaking of lowbrow humor,
look, you can listen to us, some combination of the three of us, either on this show or any of the other shows that we talk about. You can also interact with us on our Discord, densepixels.com/fans. You can also go to youtube.com/densepixels. Brad will be, I'm presuming, uploading his streams there eventually.
If I remember, so Twitch is dumb and you can't download your streams to save elsewhere unless you're a partner. So I'll have to actually remember to enable OBS to record and stream simultaneously so that I can do that, which excellent. I did not remember to do for that Mass Effect 1 stream. So,
well,
want to see that, you got a week and a half before it goes away.
He will try to remember so that you can go to youtube.com/densepixels. While you're there, subscribe. Since you're all, subscribing to everything, you can subscribe to all the shows that we're on individually, including the Nerdopocalypse, Black on Black Cinema. We just recorded a new episode called Monster that does not star Charlize Theron. Coming Distractions, the weekly preview episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. And if that's still not enough, densepixels.com/premium for $50 a year or $5 a month if you're, cheap. You can access the premium slate of podcasts, including the airing of grievances. We have a schedule that we are going to be recording those on. There's one in the can. So get ready for that one. No Time to Bleed. We got the movie picked out. We're waiting on our friend on the West Coast who has middle of nowhere internet because he would like to be on that episode. The Men with the Golden Tongues will return in June. I need you. Has anybody tried to guess what the theme will be?
Not that I've seen.
Okay, all right. That's your homework. Your homework also includes listening to Upstage Conversation.
There'll be a new episode of that as soon as I can get Brad to.
Carrie's got to wrangle me. That's right.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, we're waiting on Brad. This point.
There you go. And the full 2-hour-ish episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. Yeah. densepixels.com/premium.
I'm slightly surprised about this, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised about this.
I'm not.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't be. But Microsoft finally going to start flexing that Bethesda exclusivity muscle, as they have announced that StarField is going to be an Xbox and PC exclusive when it releases supposedly next year. This is a industry report from Jeff Grubb. It's not been confirmed, I don't think, by Microsoft. The scuttlebutt, as Micah is prone to saying, is that this is going to show up for the first time at E3 this year during the Microsoft presentation. Now, given Bethesda's recent history, I don't think anyone would be surprised if this were to somehow come out this fall, if they're going to show it off at E3 for the first time, given that that seems to be how they like to release their games nowadays, which I'm all for. No need to build up a long hype trail, which apparently they were going to announce it or show some of stuff off sooner. And then like the Cyberpunk debacle happened, and they're like, you know what, we'll just hold it back.
I mean, they've experienced, I mean, particularly with Fallout 4, they didn't announce Fallout 4 until the E3 before it was ready to come out. So if they're going to fully unveil StarField for the first time at E3 this year, I feel like it's reasonable to expect that StarField would probably be coming out within the 6 to 8 months after that.
Yeah. I think that's very reasonable. Also, I mean, if you want to look at Microsoft's recent history, just look at Halo Infinite and perhaps why
they don't want another shit show like that. No. But yeah, I'm not surprised that StarField is going to be, presumably, you know, rumors, is going to be Xbox PC exclusive, to be Microsoft exclusive. However, I still sort of expect that the existing Bethesda IP, such as Fallout and Elder Scrolls, will probably still appear on Sony and or Nintendo.
I think that's why most folks thought that StarField would be multi-platform, even in the wake of the announcement, just because they figured they might have inked those deals, those publishing deals, before Microsoft had picked them up. I will say this, though I will, of course, have to wait to see what StarField actually is, since we haven't seen it. If this is my jam, Microsoft might have finally gotten their first system seller.
Ooh.
Wow.
Or you could just get a nice PC, because I'm not going to be buying an Xbox. I will be playing it on my PC.
The Xbox would be cheaper to buy than a PC.
Yes, but the PC would be more useful.
I know, but I just bought this.
You already have one.
I can't. Plus, then I'd have to like play on a mouse and key. Like, who does that? What kind of monster do you think I am?
I don't play with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
No, I play with an Xbox One controller.
Oh, do you?
Well, you got an Xbox One controller right there.
Because their controllers are delightful.
Xbox.
No, I'm not going to buy an Xbox. I'm going to use the controllers on my PC because they are the most comfortable controller out there. I think that's the one thing Microsoft has, is they a long time ago fucking perfected the video game controller.
I don't know, man. This one's pretty good. Pretty good.
DualSense is better than previous DualShocks, but I still think the Xbox is a better controller. I don't like having my thumbsticks right next to each other.
I think you're forgetting. Oh, wait.
I actually don't mind that thing so much when I have to use it.
Nah, I hate it.
I got teeny little baby hands, so like I don't mind it.
Yeah,
teeny tiny little baby hands for me. So
if I wanted to play a Tiger Electronic game, I'd go back to 1990.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I think I still have the ones that I had when I was a kid in a box.
I wish I did. I had a lot of Tiger games back when I was.
I had the Aladdin Tiger game that I was pretty good at. Something else, maybe the Lion King. I definitely had Aladdin though.
Speaking of the greatest controller in console gaming, the DualSense PlayStation controller, there are 2 new colors that are set to hit shelves next month for PS5 controllers. Get ready for Midnight Black and Cosmic Red, so says the title of the blog post of the PlayStation blog that announced these. Cosmic Red, okay, it's a purplish red. I can see Cosmic Red. The black is just black. Like, if you're gonna get this black controller, you're boring. That's all I'm gonna say.
I pre-ordered the red.
I should. I've been meaning to get a DualSense, and what better excuse than to get new colors. I do like the red. The red is pretty dope.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the red.
No.
I like my reds to be a little more ruby. And I like my purples to be like deep purples.
Yeah, this is a red that I would say is trending magenta.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm feeling it. And I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna get the black controller because I don't have a black console to go with
So
it.
you want more of like a blood warm red. This is like a cool bluish red.
This is like blood that has left the body and has been exposed to oxygen for a long period of time.
Okay, well that turns brown, so that's not what that is.
That's closer to the black controller.
Okay, maybe not that long. No, I need something.
You like your reds to be like warm, almost orangey. Like I get it. Yes, like that.
I need that.
So
and I need my purples to be like regal, like deep purples. So
yep.
Not this.
My wife was not impressed with either color because I would ostensibly also be getting it for her because we're gonna need a second controller when Diablo 4 comes out at some point in time. Also, a second controller would have really come in use this weekend because I ran through the charge on this thing like at least 3 times playing. And the problem is that the way my cables are set up, like I have them run under my desk and then coming through, so it wasn't like long enough to sit back and play, which is a major design flaw on my part. So I'd probably need to rearrange what I'm doing there. But I'm also not usually playing for like 9 hours in a clip at a time. So those are coming soon. We talked last week. One of the things mentioned during the Apple Epic trial is that Apple justified having 2 standards for Fortnite and for games like Roblox because they called Roblox and Minecraft, quote, experiences and not games. Well, Roblox, terrified at what the potential outcome of this trial could possibly be and what it could mean for their prospects on the Apple Store later on down the road, have basically wiped the word game from any description of Roblox. And it is now an experience.
Wow.
On its website, according to the folks at Roblox. That's not the only piece of terminology they changed. So they changed the phrase continue playing to just continue. From friends playing, now friends visit you in Roblox for an experience. They used to have like a header that just said games at the top of their site. Now it says discover. Instead of joining a game, you can now just join your friends. And if you're not playing Roblox anymore, you are now active in Roblox. Wow. This is so funny to me.
Wow. Also, it's kind of scary, yo. Like really this whole company. So this company was just like, this bigger company is dictating how we have to brand ourselves. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Well, but they're worried because if, like, let's say Epic, I'm trying to think of how this could backfire. Essentially, it could backfire where Apple's like, yeah, we got to take the 30% from you too. At some point. or you have to just make it look like that it's fine. So like now, what is Epic like? What if Epic decides to rebrand themselves as an experience now? Like Fortnite's not a game anymore, guys. It's the Fortnite experience. So you're not playing Fortnite. You are you spawn in Fortnite now. Like you're spawning. So that's what to see that in the wake of this. That's what I want them to do. Like if somehow the case gets decided for them, and Apple's like, no, experiences are cool. I just want Fortnite to literally just change terminology and be like, now what? Let's go back to court.
This legalese bullshit.
I'd be petty as fuck. Are you kidding me?
Oh shit. That's funny and scary.
Yeah, that was the biggest news. The other big news that came out. So Phil Schiller testified yesterday, I think, and basically said that because Netflix was okay and not the same as xCloud, because like you don't have to log in to individual accounts to watch movies on Netflix, which it seems a very flimsy splitting of hairs between the two things. So okay, yeah. Schiller, whatever you guys have to tell yourself to make the rules different for different people. And again, I'd be cool if they were just be like, yeah, Netflix is bigger than Epic is, so we have to make special concessions for them. Like that would be a better argument, I feel like.
Yeah, that would make a little more sense to me, but what the hell do I know, right?
A couple weeks ago, Carrie and I talked about the insane state of the Pokemon trading card game markets, to the point where people were Target was limiting sales, worrying about the safety of their staff. Well, they're so worried that Target has temporarily suspended the sale of Pokemon cards and other trading cards in their stores in response to violent confrontations related to the collectibles. The policy went into effect last week, but customers were seeing signs in stores even before then entirely.
So I was in Target last week.
Who'd you
Picked up a pack. Here's the thing, I've been sort of picking up packs at random, sort of like, get that dopamine rush. You get that nice shiny crinkle paper, and
who'd you have to stab to get those?
They just had them. So this isn't the set that everyone's after. This is Battle Styles as opposed to Shining Fates, which is like the hot commodity right now, or Shining Fates packs. But yeah, I got some cards. Nothing worth anything. But
Never is.
How many kids did you have to drop kick?
I didn't here's the thing. They didn't have any Shining Fates packs. They didn't have really any tins. They just sort of had a handful of Battle Styles packs. But I mean, they had the sign up when I was in there that they were going to stop selling them. So
were you screaming at associates like, where are your Pokemon cards?
Because I'm not a fucking lunatic. I was in there to buy some yogurt and figured I'd pick up a pack of Pokemon cards while they were still available.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself every morning when I'm looking for new toys at Target. Oh, I'm just going here to get a bottle of milk.
Every morning? Why are you going to Target on the daily?
Oh, no, not every morning.
Okay.
Like once a week. Once a week when they restock. This toy game is something fierce, man. Like the aftermarket is crazy. And I'm not even trying to make money. I don't get these toys to invest. The fuck out of here. I get them to play with them.
Anything that has limited runs has insane aftermarkets. Watches are the same way. Like there's some brands that have such limited runs that, if you don't get lucky and snap it up, like you're gonna buy that shit for 50% over retail from an online seller. It's wild. So yeah, weirdly they also pulled like sports trading cards as well, which I didn't realize was that serious, but I guess they didn't want to pull ones and not the others.
Yeah, I think the only thing they're still selling in stores right now is Magic.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
I mean, Micah, Magic's the moneymaker. They're not gonna.
Yeah, they're not gonna get Magic. But people aren't losing their shit over Magic, or like I guess Yu-Gi-Oh's still around too. You still see Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah.
Here and there. Yeah, I mean, people aren't tearing each other up because that's the thing. It's just a flipper market. People aren't buying the Pokemon cards for the sake of then like building a deck and playing in a game. That's what people do with Magic cards, is they're buying packs so that they can play the game, presumably. It's the Pokemon trading card market is purely just a raw flipper market right now.
I hate that shit, man.
Dude, me too.
God damn it.
That being said, I could take advantage of this and make a lot of money very quickly right now if I wanted to.
I don't know why you don't. Like I said, sentiment only takes me so far.
Yeah, no, I am way too fucking nostalgic for my days at the old Owings Mills Mall Wizards of the Coast store. So,
oh my goodness. EA, we've talked about, recently acquired racing game developer Codemasters. In an interview, EA CEO Andrew Wilson said that they want to give Codemasters the quote respawn treatment, saying that I'm quoting now from Andrew Wilson, our orientation isn't to come in and take over Codemasters. Our orientation isn't to come in and turn Codemasters into another EA studio. We want to provide a provision of opportunity, whatever the fuck that means. I guess the reason that Respawn got to do what they wanted is because Vince Zampella made Call of Duty, and that was kind of a big deal. And then eventually they put out Apex Legends, which prints money. And so, that basically gives you a blank check. So it's like, oh, you want to make a single player Star Wars game? Okay, whatever. Like as long as that golden goose is laying eggs. Like,
when's the next season of Apex coming?
Right. Like
then we'll talk about.
Couldn't give a shit. Codemasters is in that same ballpark in terms of racing games, but Racing A is a lot more competitive of a field, and it also doesn't bring in the same kind of revenue. That said, do we think that EA has finally learned their lesson when it comes to putting their stamp onto these bigger studios that they acquire?
No, not yet. I don't think so. I'm gonna need a little more. I'm gonna need a little more evidence before I'm willing to give EA the benefit of the doubt when it comes to meddling. And it's got to be something that's, this would be the real test, right? Like, because whatever racing game they're going to put out is not going to be, you got the two big guns on either console.
Well, so weirdly enough, so in this recent like revelation that I've had about like F1 is awesome, I did download so Codemasters puts out the official F1 video game every year. I did download a demo, like a trial for F1 2020. It's actually kind of fun. Like it's not something that I would play because it's way too like sim heavy, and I don't have that kind of time. But I think F1 does really well, and the game is actually very well produced considering.
I mean, yeah, that's one thing, right? But what's the first thing you did when you got your big budget racing car game? When you got Gran Turismo, what was the first thing you did? You went and looked for your car.
That's right.
And
get
you're
that,
not
get that cappuccino in there. So
you're not, F1 is a niche of a niche. You know what I mean? Like you gotta start like cranking out a couple of arcade racing games that just have to hit like a Burnout Paradise hit. You know what I mean? Even that first Burnout, Codemasters did that first Burnout, didn't they?
Did they? They're famous for the Dirt and Grid franchises as well. So they kind of spread it around. I thought Criterion did all the Burnouts.
No, I thought I can't remember
up until a certain point, at least. So
yeah, you're probably right, but it's you gotta something's gotta hit the video game zeitgeist as a whole for them to, because I just don't see EA not. Plus, EA is run by like a bunch of like European dudes, and they swear up and down that they know racing, right? So I don't know.
My big fear is it's the same thing I reiterated last week when I talked about Super Mega Baseballs. I'm just worried that it's going to be riddled with microtransactions at some point.
Yeah,
like that's the stamp I'm not worried about them. Like I'm just waiting for F1 Ultimate Team to show up in like F1 2022 when that game comes out.
Yeah, it and that's what I'm talking about. Like like the developers under EA, like they know what they're doing. They don't put out like crap games for the most part. But like that Star Wars game was fine. It was a slot machine. Like it played well. It was the best playing slot machine I've ever seen. But it was a slot machine. Coupled with the fact that like it's got a property beloved by everyone. And they very clearly took advantage. Now, and I don't make that comparison to say that I think that's what's going to happen here. I make that comparison just to remind people, like, yeah, it's about making money, man. Yep. And if whatever Codemasters doesn't make money, yeah, you better believe they're gonna put their hands all over
it. We touched ever so briefly on the new transmog system in Destiny 2. Where we talked about how they were limiting it to like you can only do 10 transmogs per season, which the community thought was ridiculous. Well, it turns out that it's going to be pretty tough to get to 10 in a single season anyway. So I'm not going to dive too deeply into the way the sausage is made on this, but essentially Paul Tassi of Forbes, or actually, yeah, it was Paul Tassi of Forbes that basically figured out that it's going to take about 25 hours of in-game playtime to be able to grind out enough materials to transmog a single full armor set in Destiny 2.
Jesus.
But of course, you can speed that up by paying them real money bucks. Out of
So
that
you can either pay real money or play the game that is the equivalent of Brad beating an RPG.
I could
Mass
play
Effect 1.
through based on my average time on finishing start to finish. I could play through Golden Sun twice.
Yeah.
In the time
get one piece of armor and
it takes you to make.
Well, but so here's the thing. So there are a number of different like materials that you need to earn. And again, that's why I don't want to dig too deep into details. But materials that you there's a specific material called synth weave that you need in order to transmog this stuff. So you can max out your carry capacity at 15 synth weave for the synth weave that you grind out playing in game. However, the synth weave templates that you buy with your silver in Destiny 2, which is the real money currency, is infinite. Like there's no limit on how much you can stack on those.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Holy shit.
Yeah. So again, just a reminder, Diablo 3 completely free transmog. It costs you in-game gold, which at a certain point is being pissed on you constantly, like it's not even a thing. World of Warcraft has a paid subscription but has the same transmog where it doesn't cost any actual money. League of Legends has free cosmetics that you could buy, but it's a free-to-play game. And I guess Destiny 2 is also technically a free-to-play game at this point, but it's not. Like if you're playing Destiny 2 and you give a shit about transmog, you are buying that expansion every year and paying for those seasons that come out. I'm not even mad at them for incentivizing people to spend real money, because again, the game is free to play.
It's a business. Like, of course they're going to incentivize people to spend money, but boy, is this a fucking obnoxious way to do it.
It's a slap in the face. Like if you're like, it's the closest equivalent I could think of is when Street Fighter 5 came out and Capcom was like, oh, you can unlock every character in the game without spending a dime. And that's true, you could, but the amount of time you'd have to play to grind out enough fight money compared to just buying the characters was ludicrous. Like no one in their right mind would spend the hours needed to unlock one character or just pay $5. Like at that point, why even have it as an option to do it in the game? Just charge the money for it. I'd respect you more. The same thing with this. Like you want like people have been asking for transmog. Cool. Hey, we're gonna give you this thing that's really popular that everyone wants, but look, we got bills to pay. So if you want a transmog, we'll let you pay $3 an armor set, whatever. Like people still pay that shit. They won't care. You might get people that grumble about it, but they're gonna grumble a lot more about gating something behind 25 hours in Destiny is a long fucking time. That's a long time. It's a real long time. It's a lot of matches at Crucible.
Yeah, yo. It's longer than the original campaign of these games. Like they're
correct. Yes.
I don't know, man.
By a factor of like 3. like it's not even close.
Oh, that's funny.
Speaking of making me spend money that I wasn't planning on doing. Final story in the quick stories this week. Guys, they might have done it. They might have finally convinced me to try Call of Duty Warzone. So Activision is adding, not only this, it's like I saw this first and I was like, it's cool, but I don't really care. They're adding John McClane of Die Hard and John Rambo as playable operators in the new mid-season patch that's coming out here soon, which is fantastic. And apparently it's like 80s film grain camera and all this other shit. So that's fantastic in the first place. But the real pièce de résistance, the thing that is going to get me to the fucking dance, is that they're adding Nakatomi Plaza as a playable map in the game. Yo, come on!
I can't believe it. I'm watching this and I'm just grinning from ear to ear, man. Like this is amazing.
Come on.
Guys are simple.
Yes.
We really are. I mean, it's just fucking, you put Rambo in a game it'll get our attention. You
Daca,
put
daca,
Die
daca,
Hard.
daca, daca.
You would, like, I mean, there's got to be a point, like an objective or something where like you jump off of that thing, right? Like,
there has to be.
right? Like, come on, man.
You gotta have the FBI helicopter flying around. You gotta have like the fucking police tank trying to come up the steps. You gotta have Ellis's dead body laying in an office chair somewhere with a fucking Diet Coke next to him. Come on.
You gotta have Carl Winslow shoot a kid.
Come on, if you can't go down to the parking garage and Argyle's not waiting down there, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, man.
Come on.
Look, if you're gonna do this, you can't just have like a random like it's just the building.
Can you shoot the glass? Can you shoot the glass? Can you check for detonators? Can you run into a fucking British actor doing the worst American accent of all time? Come on, make my dreams come true. I want to play Die Hard Call of Duty. Let's go.
Why didn't they just do that to begin with? Why didn't they make a Call of Duty game that's just Die Hard? Like, it all takes place in one location. You just got to go up and up and up and up, right? Maybe it's not a full-fledged, Call of Duty experience. Maybe it's like an expansion. Like, instead of stupid zombies all the time, instead of stupid ass zombies shuffling around all over the place, just you're in Die Hard.
Yeah, have you seen European Terrorists?
Yes,
you're a bad guy.
You could it's like all V1, right? Or it's all V1 might not be fair, right? But you can have like a couple different like John McClanes, like you have a John McClane and a Jim McClane or whatever. It's a multiplayer thing. Who cares, right? And then you got the terrorists. And come on, man. Come on. This is $1 billion idea.
And can you duct tape a computer monitor to a chair with C4 and throw it down an elevator shaft? Can you do that? Take this under consideration, dickwad.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Or sorry, take this under advisement. Here I am misquoting Die Hard. Shame on me.
I sound like I'm ordering a fucking pizza, lady. Every time he says it, there's something about that delivery. I just die laughing, man.
Here, have you seen Die Hard 1?
Not in its entirety.
Oh, come on.
Man. Come
it's
on,
the
man.
best.
Come on.
It's the best action.
I know.
It's
really
so
good, man.
I know.
It's really good. Fucking Snape is in it. Whatever
I know.
That'll get you to watch it, right? Right. There's a wizard in it.
I like Alan Rickman for things that are not Harry Potter for what it's worth. He was a very talented actor.
He was a
very talented actor, and the Harry Potter franchise was fucking lucky to have ever had him.
I 100% agree. I am not a huge fan of that franchise, but I am an Alan Rickman fan. And look, man, just God damn it.
I know.
When Alan Rickman is dropped from the top of the tower.
I know they didn't tell him that they were going to drop him, so that they just dropped him, and then his reaction was real.
It's one of the most favorite.
I'm not completely not tuned in to Die Hard facts. Like, just because I haven't seen the movie from start to finish doesn't mean I'm a dunce about the movie.
The best part about the Hans Gruber falling from the tower scene is that there is a completely unnecessary cutaway right after the fall starts where they go to Dwayne Robertson, who's the dickhead like police guy, and he's like, boy, I hope that's not a hostage.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Really, it's really is that needed like moment of comic relief that really punches up the drama of that scene. It's so good. Now what they need to do to complement Nakatomi Tower is they need to, so they're going to put Rambo in the game. So like this is all on the Warzone map, right? So like Nakatomi Tower is just a part of the Warzone map. So in another part of the Warzone map, you can have the small, Jerkwater, USA town in Oregon from First Blood that you can then go on a rampage and murder like all the local sheriffs who were a dickhead to you for no reason other than they thought you were like a vagrant.
I know Call of Duty is a very violent game. I don't think it is as violent as any one Rambo movie, especially the later ones.
Well,
Like,
the later ones they cranked it up to like ludicrous ways. Like First Blood is excessively violent, but a really good movie. Like
right.
it's one of the better like post Vietnam movies that exist.
Yeah, because it was actually trying to like talk about the horrors of war and what it does to like the psyche, and then they just made fucking killing movies.
Yeah.
And at the end, like Rambo performs a Kano fatality on a guy, yo. Like he punches a guy and he cuts a guy's chest open and rips out his heart, and says something like I forget what he says, but like the guy kidnapped a girl that he just that was his neighbor's daughter, and he went all the way to Mexico, brought him back here, cut his chest open, and pulled his beating heart out. Like, god damn.
I've not yet seen that John Rambo movie. Like, I'm afraid. I saw Rambo 4 and I was just like, if they're going more over the top than this. Rambo 4 lets you know what you're in for within 5 minutes, because they have those like fucking like the asshole Burmese military guys that are like making the peasants go across the minefield, and like the one dude steps on a mine and it's the goriest fucking explosion you've ever seen in your life. You're like, oh, it's like this is it.
Like this is like some nether realm like study footage that like Jesus Christ. Like, all right, man. But yeah, look, I mean, it looks fun. It does. But I'd start playing it and then I'd realize it's just Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So man, go to do yourself a favor. Go to densepixels.com/Amazon for all your Amazon purchases. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon for all of your Amazon purchases, you help out the show. And it's the easiest way to help us out. I'm going to densepixels.com/Amazon right now and typing in Die Hard. You can get a Nakatomi Plaza Die Hard collection on Blu-ray for $199.95 US. And this collection is a replica of Nakatomi Tower that you can store your Blu-rays in. It might be worth it if you still use physical media, and you want the bad Die Hard.
Yeah, let's say you gotta get the 2 lesser Die Hards in there.
I've learned a lesson recently about owning the things that you want to own on physical media, because my favorite sitcom period is That 70s Show. I used to be able to watch That 70s Show on Netflix, and I can't watch it on Netflix anymore. I can't watch it anywhere anymore.
It's not even on FX?
No.
Well,
I don't think so. It's not on any of the streaming services that I am subscribed to. Now, I used to have the entire franchise on DVD. And you know what I did with those DVDs? I said to myself, I don't need DVDs. Streaming is the future. So I sold them at a yard sale. And now I can't fucking watch my favorite show because they took it off of streaming.
This is why I hung on to my there's a couple DVD sets that I did hang on to for TV shows. Scrubs, Miami Vice,
okay,
and Homicide. So
I have Seinfeld and The Shield.
Oh, I still have my Seinfeld ones too, actually, come to think of it. So
I've got Rocko's Modern Life on DVD. Those are super bootleg though.
If I didn't think that we would get in trouble for playing a whole song, I would suggest putting the Die Hard song from the band Guys Night as the end of this episode. But
okay, I think we would get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I think
at least on YouTube we would. Podcasting wouldn't matter, but YouTube we'd get a lot. We probably get it straight. We could probably get a copyright strike against us. We don't want that.
No, we don't. But we do want you to go to densepixels.com/Amazon.
It's true. All right, we're gonna veer into serious topics here now. So again, it like we say seemingly every week on the show, you can ignore politics. Politics do not ignore you. There is a long-standing conflict in the Middle East between Israel and the Palestine state over who should have access and rights to land over incredibly holy sites, both in the Jewish and Muslim religions. And it's been a kind of a Cold War in some ways, which has gotten hot many times over the years. It's a really fucking sad conflict. Like the Palestinian side has a pretty feckless government and a literal terrorist organization that has a lot of sway and does a lot of shitty things. And the Israeli government has taken kind of a right-wing turn, especially under
an extreme right-wing turn.
Benjamin Netanyahu. And so people in our generation and younger, especially, have not generally seen things from the perspective of Israel as much, or at least
no, because Israel's out here doing a genocide. Like
well, at the very least, they're doing an apartheid for sure.
They're doing an apartheid, and they're from my perspective, they're doing a genocide. They want to wipe out Palestine. They are engaging in settler colonialism, and they are I mean, they're out here doing fucking war crimes. I can tell you multiple war crimes that they've done in the last fucking 3 days. They bombed the media offices of the Associated Press, and I think Al Jazeera is also in there. They basically gave them an evacuation warning and were like, we're sending in the rockets. Y'all better fucking leave. So yeah, like they're targeting the media so that there are less people there and less resources there to report on the war crimes that they are doing. And literally yesterday, they bombed the office of the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, which is a charity in Gaza that provides medical care for Palestinian children in need, which is also a war crime. Like, fucking flat out,
yeah,
Israel is doing war crimes.
And
they're not being held responsible by anyone.
And it's been, like I said, it's been more and more, especially in the last several years. Many prominent people, politicians, things of that nature, have spoken out against the actions of the Israeli government, and rightfully so, because it's the government that's driving all of the bad acts. Like, it's nothing to do with the Israeli citizenry. It's the government taking a super hard right-wing stance on this stuff. So to bring it into the world of video games, on Friday, the editorial board for IGN, the biggest gaming media website in the world, put an article out that was titled "How to Help Palestinian Civilians." One of the articles said, quote, "Palestinian civilians are currently suffering great numbers in Jerusalem, Gaza, and the West Bank due to Israeli forces." They had links to different charities that you could donate to help Palestinian refugees and things like that are suffering, much as they did for Black Lives Matter, much in the same way they did for COVID-19 relief, much as they did for raising awareness for Asian American hate crimes and things of that nature. GameSpot put an article up as well in a similar fashion. So did Game Informer. Problem is that about 18 hours later, sometime on Saturday, the article on IGN came down, and with no explanation given by IGN as to why the article came down.
And the Game Informer one shortly thereafter
came down as well. Then on, I believe it was Monday, IGN put out a statement that basically said, hey, we took this down because it wasn't our intention to cause division. Like, this is the article only supported one side of the conflict. Basically, it was a both sidesing of the issue. The problem is that statement wasn't directed by anybody that was involved with the original statement whatsoever. And now the editorial and reporting team for IGN is pissed.
And they should be
at their parent company for basically silencing them and then putting out a statement in their name that was not at all something that they
right. And then again, just sort of like fucking both sided this. Like,
right.
When again the Vice article notes the latest Israeli militaristic aggression has so far killed 198 people and injured 1,300 more, many of which, I might stress, have been literal fucking children.
Yeah, so basically, like, not to get too deep into the woods, because Look Forward is probably going to talk about this a bunch this week. Israel was attacked by Hamas, which is the terrorist organization that operates under Palestine.
Right.
But they're retaliating against the Palestinian people, because people that take a very myopic view of this conflict just tie Hamas and the Palestinian government in with each other as one of
right. I feel like it's worth stressing that, like, Hamas is a terrorist organization, a literal terrorist organization, 100%. And has behaved as such and should be held accountable for as such. But Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people, and especially, again, not the literal children who have died as a result of this conflict. And on the other side, I have no problem with the Israelis as a people, or the Jewish people as a people or as a religion, but the Israel government is retaliating against Palestine as a people rather than targeting Hamas.
Correct.
They are,
and they're using flimsy justification to do it, like when you mentioned that they bombed the building where the AP was housed. Their justification was, oh, we have intelligence that, Hamas operated, an office at it.
Right.
But they won't.
Where's the intelligence?
They won't reveal the intelligence to support this, that kind of thing. So yeah, there was a closed door meeting at IGN. Basically, they the chief operating officer of IGN, Per Schneider, was reportedly peppered with questions about it. The IGN employees described the conflict between IGN and the parent company as a war several times, apparently.
Jesus.
Which is pretty serious. The other complicated aspect of this is that IGN has offices in many areas around the world, including Israel, and the IGN Israel office was not happy about this statement going up. It is incredible. A lot of IGN editors are now going, like, basically voicing their opinions publicly, either very overtly or very subtly in clever fashion. This is not something that's going to blow over.
No,
I don't think easily. This is going to be a huge story. And to the credit of many other folks in the industry, a lot of smaller outlets, but still, like, with large followings, have kind of taken up the call of raising awareness to this issue. I know Kind of Funny has raised more than $10,000 already for Palestine relief through a fund that they have helped set up. And they're not a generally very political organization anyway. This was all brought on mostly about Tamir Hussein, who is the GameSpot managing editor, who put out a video on Friday talking about the games industry silence about the strife that the Palestinian people is going to is a huge contrast for how they rallied to Black Lives Matter and how they rallied to stop Asian hate, and really has done a good job of raising a ton of awareness around this issue that a lot of people who don't follow politics, and even if you do follow politics, this is still potentially a huge blind spot because it's covered by Western media, especially in a very, pro-Israel, anti-Palestine slant in a lot of cases. So it's something that I would certainly encourage everyone out there to learn more about. This conflict has literally been going on for the past 70 years and has no real signs of stopping anytime soon, which is really sad because there's a lot of people primarily on the Palestine side of things who are really suffering, who are basically don't have a voice in the place that they live. They don't get a say in the government. They're treated like second-class citizens, quite literally, thanks to a lot of the especially recent law changes that the Israeli government has passed down in that country. So it's a really fucking sad situation. And I really hope that some more folks around the world can learn to separate the Israeli people who are good and don't deserve, to be shit on at all, from the Israeli government, who is heading a terrible fucking direction, especially in the last 5-10 years or so.
Yeah, I don't understand what's so difficult about that, especially coming from this country. Like, at any point in this country, America, half of the people don't like who represents them throughout the world, and they say, "Hey, just because this game show host is the president, or just because this murder my dirter guy from Delaware is there, he doesn't represent who we are as a people." But we can't turn around and do the same thing. I don't know. Look, I understand companies not wanting to. I understand companies trying to stay as neutral, quote unquote, as possible in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. This seems very one-sided to me. And this look, I'm not very worldly. I follow local politics. I follow federal politics. I'm not really much on international politics. But just reading this very mealy-mouthed response that IGN, the company, put out is I don't want to say it's an act of cowardice, but it's mealy-mouthed. Like, it's not.
The problem comes from in the past, and to an extent still, but in the past, if you criticized something that the Israeli government is doing,
you're seen as anti-Semitic.
You're seen as anti-Israel, which therefore you're an anti-Semite.
Right. And I feel like we are finally reaching a point where people can have an understanding where just because you are criticizing the actions of the Israeli government, that does not mean that you are anti-Israel or that you are against Israel's right to exist or that you are against the Jewish people. You're just against war crimes at this point.
I mean, you would think that would be something that is common sense to people, but it's really not.
I mean, these are the same people that say that, told us for the last 4 years that if you don't support the president, then you're
right,
then you don't support the country. But
right, like, get the fuck out of here, man. Wow. Jesus Christ.
I mean, a lot of it stems from, folks who are just staunchly anti-Muslim. Like, it's the Islamophobia that people have been engaging in for the last 20 plus years. That, the people who they're killing are brown. They're Muslim. Then, people are far more willing to look the other way as far as that shit's concerned. And it's disgusting. And those people should be called out for being disgusting, because what is happening to those people over there is atrocious.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, this is going to be looked back at. I have a feeling, especially if history trends the way that it seems to be going, this is going to be looked at in much the same way that we look back at, like, South Africa in the early 90s, pre-Mandela and things of that nature.
Yeah, yo.
History could be a guide, or you can just do the same shit over and over again. That's all I'm saying. like there's enough lived human history at this point to be able to kind of see how things are going to go if you don't, make a change.
Yeah.
But
if you're listening to this and you're looking to donate to support the Palestinian people in some way, my personal recommendation would be to send to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, which is, again, a victim of a bombing in Gaza City by the Israeli government yesterday, which is, again, I must stress, a war crime. So they literally tweeted an hour ago that their medical supplies are in really short supply, and they're just trying to help people who have injuries. So if you are looking for a way to support these people who have been under siege by these attacks, I would suggest looking up, again, that's the Palestine Children's Relief Fund.
So we move on to some lighter fare as we head over to the Dense Pixels post office. Well, actually, no, not lighter fare, because the first question is from Johnny to tell us about some of our favorite New Jack moments. Unfortunately, the wrestler known as New Jack passed away suddenly last Friday. I was not really that well versed with New Jack because I wasn't a big ECW guy back in the 90s. All I know about New Jack is he was a literal insane person.
Yeah, New Jack. I never watched a New Jack match. I don't. That's that like combat zone wrestling style. I'm not into that. I don't want to see people get hurt. Right. I want to see people look like they're getting hurt. Right. Like it's
Yeah,
not.
he like actually got himself hurt.
Yeah. No, he actually
And
hurt
actually
a lot
hurt
of
other
fucking
people.
Like he
he
tried to kill people.
Literally almost killed a guy.
Yeah. Intentionally.
Intentionally. Yeah.
Yeah, like come on, yo. He had a bunch of scars and shit on his head because he would like blade. Like blading is when you take a razor
you take a
blade
teeny tiny little razor blade.
Yeah, no, he would take like forks and do that shit. Like it's not like I don't need all that bloody shit, man. I just so plus I don't know if he was a master at living the gimmick or he was really an insane person. But look, I'm not gonna say that I'm glad he's dead. I'm not a monster, but I don't really have any. Not even fond. I don't have any memories of him, fond or otherwise.
Yeah. Look, I had no idea who this person was until I saw him trending on Twitter. If I'm being completely honest, I'm also not super tuned into wrestling.
I mean, you'd have like New Jack is not a casual fan.
Yeah.
New Jack.
I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, it basically appeared. He died of a heart attack over the weekend, and that's basically stemming from the incredible amount of injury that his body sustained over the course of his wrestling career, which led to blood clotting problems that he had for the last several years. So, I mean, look, you engage in a lifestyle where you are beating the shit out of other people and having the shit kicked out of you on a regular basis. Eventually your body's just going to give out.
Yeah. So, and we've been fortunate after the slew of tragic wrestling deaths like in the late 90s and 2000s, the industry has gotten a lot better over the years at taking care of their performers, so we're not seeing that nearly as often, which is a huge plus. But again, there's still a lot of guys from that era who are going to probably die way too young just because of, like Carrie said, the things they put themselves through. So don't be surprised to see some more of that in the coming years. We'll keep with wrestling. Rev asks, what is the best wrestling documentary?
I don't know.
Beyond the Mat was good.
I think honestly, just because of it comes, I don't like the way it's framed, but because of the real life events that happen to correspond around it, it's got to be Wrestling with Shadows, right? Which is the Bret Hart documentary that happened to be filming around the time where he got screwed over by Vince McMahon and left WWF.
It's the thing where it's like never in a million years could something like this have happened.
Yes.
Except it did.
Yeah. And the thing I don't like about it is it's framed extremely as like the pro Bret Hart documentary. Like it's very favorable to him. And when you actually look at the history from a more objective standpoint, not that Bret Hart didn't get fucked over, but he had a lot to contribute to the getting fucked over more than he would care to admit, probably.
Yeah, Bret didn't screw Bret more as like Bret was like gave the screwdriver to Vince McMahon.
Yeah, like he didn't leave WWF with a ton of options in a situation that were going to be good at the end of the day.
Right. Hey, it's tradition to go out if you're leaving, you go out on your back. Yeah, and that means you got to drop a belt. Well, I'm not going to do it in Canada. Well, what the fuck, yo?
Not to that guy. Not to
that guy. I don't like him. Like, all right, yo.
Yeah,
all right.
Like it's but again, especially like the footage that they captured of that night in Montreal, and the backstage stuff and all that jazz, was pretty good. It's a good documentary. Again, it's very pro Bret Hart, but it's a pretty solid watch. The Dark Side of the Ring stuff is fine. I don't like that they do the silhouette like film like they do
reenactments?
like yeah, they do it like the crime TV style
Yeah.
like cutaways,
Yeah.
which I'm not a fan of. Like just to fucking tell the story.
Dark Side of the Ring is it depends on who the subject is. I mean, most of them are good, but it depends on who the subject is for me. I would love another like 30 for 30. I enjoyed Ric Flair's 30 for 30, but I think a lot of that had to do with Ric Flair.
100%.
You know what I
There's
mean?
there's not a whole lot of other guys that I think could have an interesting 30 for 30 specifically. Like the A&E biographies that they've been showing are fine. Like some of them are kind of puff pieces, so it's not really you're not really getting hardcore look at things. A lot of the WWE produced stuff is pretty good too. Like the Monday Night Wars series is fairly good. Again, it's going to be slanted slightly from a WWE standpoint, just because they won
Slightly.
So histories get to, you know, victors get to tell the history, as it were. But it's still a lot of great shit, and especially if you want to see the golden age of wrestling kind of laid out before you, it's a good one to watch. Daniel, we'll wrap it up with him. He says, will you guys go back to playing Mass Effect Andromeda after you play the main 3? Tempted to go back just to stick with the story with an ending. I think I am actually gonna revisit Andromeda once I'm done the trilogy.
It depends on what's out at this point. Like, I don't hate Andromeda. I actually really like it. I know everybody like couldn't wait to say how bad it was, but actually I liked it. I liked it enough. The problem with Andromeda is, you know, you got it's like the opening act coming on after the headliner. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, I just saw Dave Chappelle in concert, and now here's, you know, Funny McNeilson at the Chuckle Hut.
Some guy we picked up off the street.
Right.
Doing jokes.
Right. So like Mass Effect hit the video game like consciousness, zeitgeist. Like it hit it like no game I have seen in the modern era of video game fandom. And is just beloved by everyone who, you know, played it up until the journey was great 99% of the time, and then that 1% where the ending is just like, oh nope, fuck this whole series. Like, all right, but yeah, that was the big problem with Andromeda. So I might go back and play it, but it just depends on what else is it just depends on what else is
I'd like to play it now that all the bugs and jank have been smoothed out, and it got a bit of a upgrade for PS4 Pro / PS5. So
yeah,
pretty solid. So
I will, for what it's worth, I will eventually play Mass Effect now that the Legendary Edition is out. I just have Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne coming out next week. And like, I knew basically if I were to pick up Mass Effect now, I wouldn't ever fucking finish it. Like, I want to play those games all back to back, like you maniacs are doing. But like, I just have other games hidden at weird times that I'm prioritizing. So I will eventually.
I 100% understand. I'm very curious to see. I'm very curious to hear your opinion of it, because women tend to, and this is part of the reason why Mass Effect is such the phenomenal success that it is. Women, in my experience, talking to people who, you know, customers at GameStop, women absolutely love Mass Effect. They love it. Yeah,
because it's got hot aliens.
Well, also because one, you can make a female lead. Two,
oh sure,
that's big. Her performance is way better.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Fem Shep is the superior shepherd. Yeah, I know that much.
Compared to Mark Meer, like it's night and day. Like,
yeah, man. Like, look, it is. Shit,
all I know is I just want to fucking date Garrus. That's it.
You gotta wait a while.
Oh, you're gonna be waiting a while.
And it's like you can't do it until Mass Effect 2, right?
3.
Really?
He's not a romance option until the third game.
I thought he was a romance option in 2.
I thought so too. at first.
But you see, this is how you know it's true love, right? Like you meet this guy, he's all rough and he's like, fuck the establishment, man.
Trying to give you some of those mandibles.
I'm this cop and I'm trying to get shit done, but they keep holding me back, Shepard. They keep holding me back. And then you know, depending on how things play out, then he comes in the second game. This is like
don't even spoil that. Like,
look,
like the apparent.
All I know
in the second game.
We got a handsome alien man who I eventually get to smooch.
There you go.
I don't ask for a lot. Monster fuckers stay winning in 2021. And on that note, before we leave today, I want to make sure that you know that the Baltimore Gamers Symphony Orchestra show is this Saturday. It's at 8:00 Eastern. It's streaming on the BGSO YouTube page. It's a premiere. It's not a live show, but we recorded for it between like January and April, early May maybe, and yeah, it's full of bangers. Do you like Sticker Brush Symphony? Everybody likes Sticker Brush Symphony. We got Sticker Brush Symphony. Do you like F-Zero music? F-Zero music slaps. We got F-Zero music. Do you like something calm, like some twinkly little tunes from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? Yeah, we fucking got that too. It's an hour and a half of music, and it's gonna be a super fun time. So again, this is totally free. It's just on YouTube. So pop in Saturday night when it premieres so you can hang out and chat with me and plenty of other BGSO members. And please support all of the hard work that I did, because I arranged like half the show and I recorded 5 songs and I did all of like the video editing. So please support me personally and the many hours of hard work that I put into producing it.
I'm sure you guys are looking forward to getting back in person.
Absolutely.
Because
like this show is going to be really good.
Audio editing is hard. If you've not joined our Discord, you can do that at densepixels.com/fans. Subscribe to the show and the other TNP Studio shows wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/densepixels, and then follow us on Twitch. I am densepixels Brad. Carrie is Stuff It's Carrie. Terrence is Apparition. That's it for us this week. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening. I should go.
See ya.
Oh, you stole my line!
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.